Hey, good morning, everybody. Don't know what that little glitch was. It's Bob Phibbs, the retail doc. Today is Sunday, March 20th, and in a few hours, it'll be the exact first day of spring. Most of us call it today is the first day of spring, but it technically is at 11:30 Eastern time today. So those of you who are keeping score, winter has a few more hours. Do me a favor and type in wherever you're joining me from, because around the world we have an awful lot of people that watch. And I don't do this on a regular basis anymore because, well, quite simply, it's just hard to get questions. And last night I had asked, I needed at least five, and there was one that's kind of thrown in there. So I thought, all right, I'll give you this as five. But the key to all of this is for your participation. I need to know you're there. Julie, good morning from Bradentown, Florida. Let me know that you're there. And if you have any questions while I'm live, you can ask them and I will answer them directly. And the thing to remember that spring is a time of renewal and optimism and hope. And so wherever you have been in the past few weeks, or even certainly in the last couple of years, it's a time to cast that off and to take a page from what plants are experiencing and rebirth. It's that simple. And understanding that we are harvesting all the good energy and putting it back out there. And remember that people that walk into a brick and mortar store, and yes, that is the people I talk to, not not online people, because that's a different market. But most retailers nowadays have a combination of online and brick and mortar. But brick and mortar is the folks who I'm typically talking to the most. And just understand that people walk into your store with hope. They want to get the guy, they want to get the girl. They just lost the guy, they want to get the new guy. They just lost 50 pounds. They just had a baby. They just moved. There's a million reasons people walk in, and they're willing to roll the dice that when they walk in, they're going to get a great experience with your brand. And so I help an awful lot of brands, from some of the biggest, well known top 100 all the way down to regional players, and then down to individual mom and pops, to understand how to engage a stranger, discover the shopper, and sell the merchandise. And my flagship product is Sales RX. You can go to salesrx.com. That's my online retail sales training, where I have taken all of the tools that I have used for some of these brands over 3-day events, and getting the highest increase of sales, the number one mall in the world, packaged into an online program that you can follow along and use on your own. It's all self-directed, but it is not set and forget. It's an active way, just like I expect you to be active. And you are jumping in and being active this morning. Woohoo! Good for you. Hey, Catherine from Knoxville, Tennessee. Joanne from Lehigh Valley. Roxy from South Africa. David from Portland. Always up early, dude. Richard, not cleaning today. in England, that's always good. Jeffrey from South Jersey. I always laugh. South Jersey. I was speaking in Atlantic City, and I called the hotel and I said, after my speech, I want to have a massage. And the guy's like, okay, we could do that. And I go, I want your best masseuse. And he goes, I can do it. Okay, good. And so I get out of the massage, later that afternoon, uh, and the guy goes, how was your massage? And I go, it was great. He goes, I pinky swore, man. I'll never forget that. Like, okay, great. That's good. While I was on the phone, I saw that. Nice shirt. Thank you, Julie. This is a fairly new shirt. I haven't gotten an awful lot of shirts lately. Barbara, Newark, Delaware. I drive from Newark, New Jersey. So there you go. Happy first day of spring from Blackstone, Mass. Somebody from Stamford, Connecticut. I'm actually going to be in Greenwich here tomorrow for an event, and then I'll be back in a couple of weeks. So welcome for you, Kathy. Good morning. Good morning, all the way down to Margot. Good morning from Collingwood, and John here as well. So thanks very much. I will get these are very fairly short questions I have here today, because typically, hey David, it's usually a little bit more involved, but there is one I'm going to go a little longer on, talking about downtowns today. So if you're in a downtown, certainly make sure you listen up. All right. So Barb asked me, should your shopping bags have your logo or name on them? It's an advertising cost. I am a big believer of branding, but you know what? If most people are driving to your store and it's not associated with anywhere else, then it's probably less important. And you probably would do better with logoed or branded gift wrap. I know there's several toy companies that do that, toy stores that do that, that they have the one package that all of theirs look like. So all the moms and dads always know, oh, that's that. So I would encourage you that. But if you're on a downtown area or a place that is typically walkable, I think certainly shopping bags have their place. Just make sure that it's a fully featured shopping bag, and you just didn't take a a craft bag and stick a black logo on it, because I don't think that really gets you very far. Hope that helps. I remember the mall. Hey, Aaron, good to see you here, my friend. Hometown, exactly. Hey, and Chelly also. So I remember when I was in I think it was the Las Vegas Fashion Show Mall a couple of years ago, and I think I did a Facebook Live because this woman's store was dead. It's Designel. I never know how to say their name. DESI. It's either a G or a N or something. It's a company from South America, and they're very colorful clothes, very much like this shirt, and they're dead. So I see the manager go behind the counter, and she says, "Excuse me," and she goes back and she grabs like 20 bags. And I think I saw her. Somebody may have also come with her with some water, but she stood out in front of her store and she passed out bags. And she goes, "Oh, here, free bag, free bag. Oh, here, let me take all those bags. I'll put them into mine." I was like, brilliant marketer. And if somebody didn't have a bag, then they put a bottle of water in it, so there was something in the bag. And what is the visual? On a busy Saturday, or when there's a lot of people in the mall, all these people are seeing these bags going like, "Hey, what's going on with that bag, with that brand?" And that was very smart. I thought she was uber brilliant. But again, there were a lot of people there, and it wasn't independent business. They had multiple stores around the world to amortize that cost. Shannon says, "What's the best avenue to hire a quality employee?" Well, always my first place is employees are your best ones to get other good employees, because they typically have similar values and they have similar tastes. So it's typically better, not always. I also say number two is people you see doing the job. So if you're going to a restaurant and someone's doing an amazing job, I always say leave your card behind and say, "Hey, if you're ever looking for hours, I would love to talk to you." It's that simple. A lot of people don't do that. Instead, they spend their time, you put an ad up on Monster, some of these other job sites now, and you're going to get 500 applications that are robo done. You're not going to have time to look at the good ones. So wherever you can put something, they have to write a sentence or something in that shows they actually read your ad. I think that helps too. But it's a big problem. There's no two ways around it, because quite simply, all the good ones already have a job. So you're gonna have to steal them from somewhere else, and that's why I say see them out in the wild, and you'll be able to get them. Good morning, Brian. Glad you're here from Oklahoma City. Uh, Julie, everyone shops at that store. D-Sig you all. Oh, thank you, Richard. D-Sig, D-Sigual. D-Sigual. I'll probably forget that immediately, but hopefully that helped, Richard. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Hey, Connie, glad you're here from Southeast Minnesota. All right. So Alexandra asked me the best advice for downtowns where the office workers in aren't back full time in offices, and let's face it, probably won't ever be. So Alexandria, I have talked to countless downtown associations, and it is always just a grab bag. We have the passionate store owner who's been there. They were the pioneer. They were the one that planted their flag and they said, "I'm going to do this." And that's great. But you know what? The pioneers were the ones that got the arrows. Most of the people are waiting for the settlers. Like, is it safe for us to be here? So those first people in, it's really important that they over deliver. Yes, Aaron, you know where I'm going with this. They have to over deliver and they can't compromise, because ultimately that's what's going to attract people to come to that area, to come to that downtown. So if that's you, then you've got to find other people just like you. Okay, so that's the first thing with downtowns. Number two is it's all on you, quite simply. Some of I used to be the marketing director of a coffee franchise, and I'll never forget. This woman was telling me how she just opened and she tried couponing all these different things, and I said, "We're going to go and walk the office building next door." "Oh, I couldn't do it. Come with me." So I had her grab some menus, and we literally got off on every single. I think it was a 10-story building. We started at the top, came down, walked into every single office, and even if they said no solicitors, just really simply had a little script of what we say and the leave behind, and make sure you do it. Most people forget that shoe leather is the greatest opportunity you have if you're a small business. You can go and meet and greet and find out and talk to people. And that's your second thing you could do in downtown. Notice I haven't said, "Oh, you got to beat up the mayor and talk to somebody you need more money." It's all on you. Number two is you got to build a coalition of people like you, so that if it's only just you as a pioneer and someone else, that you do an event where both of you are doing something simultaneously. Yes, it could be something for the community, but come shop with us because we're giving to others. That's not, you're leaving out the third part of that, which is what's in it for me, because I may not share that charity, I may not know that charity or whatever. So, what kind of things you can do? For me, I know when I hear people are raising money for a shelter for animals, it's very different than when you see the dogs there and they break your heart, right? And so you give them money, and some people adopt them, and you learn their story. It's FaceTime. This is what most people forget. It's more about FaceTime than anything. And then the other thing is to realize that building owners out there, a lot of these people bought as investment 10, 20 years ago. They think it's going to go sky high. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But you got to get those building owners to really come on board. And unfortunately, I've seen beaten up downtown Main Street Association coordinators. They're like, oh, they'll never do anything and someone won't. But you've got to keep trying, because here's the thing. As those buildings go into disrepair, as they start going into, third tier retailers and this, they keep the pioneers away. And that's what's really sad, because the pioneers are what makes a vibrant downtown. A pioneer is the one that says, this is where we're going, follow me. And people are like, yes, because there's a group of other people. They're like, oh, I don't want anything to change. But you need those pioneers who are willing to make a difference. And if you're in a downtown association and or something like that, or chamber, whatever, then understand it's up to you, because there's nobody that's going to be as passionate about making your business work as you. So there is no easy answers to downtowns where office workers aren't back full time. Manhattan's the same way. However, I will say we are cyclical. And while everybody says, oh, work for home is so much easier, I don't care if it's easier. I know people who are totally burned out because they're working from home. They can't shut it off. They're addicted to being on all the time. And so when you can actually go to a building and and leave it, I think we're going to see that more and more. In the meantime, what should you do? You've got to make sure that everybody that walks in that store gets an exceptional experience, one they're going to rave about, one that they're going to be able to say, oh, I want to check in, I want to take a picture. It was so amazing, I have to tell everybody. But we tend to settle, and we tend to forget what it was like when you first opened, and you tend to forget that passion you had about connecting with everyone. I've got an exciting project that I'm doing here in a hometown. We're going to announce in a couple of weeks. And it's just very clear the developer and myself are in the same place. Like, we have one shot to get this right. And when we do, it's going to be amazing. But you would be shocked how many times people will open stores, open businesses, open developments, and they never thought about the face-to-face communication. That's where you either make it or break it. Either you master it or you give up and you say, oh, it's really hard to hire. It is. Oh, my employees don't know how to sell. I know. That's where I come in. That's where people come in and train those soft skills, because the soft skills are what anyone needs to be able to go any further in life. Yeah, you can work in virtual, then you can do a lot of that. But if you can't connect with somebody face to face, if you can't do anything other than looking down at your phone, I think you're gonna have a tougher time. If that agrees with you, let me know. Type in, does this make sense to you, whether you work in a downtown or not? Type in, let me know you're there. Make sure we're organized. That's it, Roberta. That's exactly it. That's the only thing you can do, because otherwise I think you keep saying what you need to do, and most people aren't going to rally to that. Most people want to hear what we can do, and they see a brighter future, and that's kind of it. All right. Shannon, I already did Shannon, and Alexandra, I did her. And then Alexandra, you asked me advice for a business owner planning a maternity leave. I would certainly say ask other women. There's plenty of other women that are on my site. And if any of our followers have followed me, you can answer that in yesterday, where I posted to ask me the questions. I just think it's a really tough thing to do. One of our best sales RX clients, though, she went on paternity leave, and she had, I think, 3 stores, but she had all of the places all filled. So she knew she had people doing the job. She didn't think that she could do it both together and kind of minimize the risk. She understood what she was doing and made sure that to fill those in. So I hope that helps. I don't believe that I know what it's like to be a pregnant mom to be able to tell you anything that's value on that. All right. So fair enough. Laura, final question. Laura, SMS marketing versus email thoughts. So the number one question is, how are you going to get there text number. It works out easy. I recommend Podium a lot. You've heard me talk about Podium a lot on my webinars and on these, because Podium is really great. I can certainly say, like, if you're a mattress store, you're looking around and you say, "Give me back." Oh, let me just send you some information on that, and I can text it to you, and then you can actually buy it from that text. That's amazing. That is definitely it. And now you've got a reason that you got their text. But here's the thing: once I bought that mattress, are you going to start marketing to me? Because if you start marketing to me, I'm probably going to ban you, and then it blows up in your face. Whereas email, while it might not be opened as much, I can decide if I want to open or not. I think that the key is knowing what that SMS marketing is. So um, if I've got your Laura, your phone number, I'm not going to be spamming you with 20% off if you come in with this code or something like that. It better be pretty personal. Hey, Laura, that designer that you really like has just arrived with a new spring collection. I can set up a dressing room, and you could have a private showing. Just let me know. That would be amazing to me. Then you really were personalized and granularized, and I think that you'll meet with great success, versus thinking we're just going to spam people. I don't think that's going to work for anybody. So there you go. David, Podium works well for us. There you go. There you go. Alex job. Well, if you have any other questions, you can certainly hold them till the next time. If you're live and you want to, yeah, you don't have to tell me how to say it again. Desigual. Al, desigual. That's still not going to stick. Just remember, it's spring. It's a time to be looking for hope, and turn off the news, because no one is going to say, "Oh, I want to make sure that I find out the latest and hopeful news." What's something even worse we have to worry about? And in the end of the day, I don't care what's going on with Amazon or anyone else, or whether Kohl's is going to be bought or anything else. All you have is your four walls. And if you're a multi-chain, a multinational company, all that you should be thinking about is that individual store, and making those managers and team members' day, and they'll make your customers' day. Forget that, and you lose the face-to-face battle. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me this week. I appreciate it.